Hello and welcome. My name is Space Muffin, and this is the Void Strategy. So first and foremost, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me for 100 videos. This is our 100th video, and we couldn't get here without you guys. So thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciated. Appreciate you guys. And for our 100th video, I wanted to do a tier list. This is a mid-year tier list. The one we did is a little bit outdated. There's been a lot of updates since then. And so, look, guys, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys, and let's jump right on into it. So first we have Arthas. Arthas has been nerfed. He used to cost 4, now he costs 5. Very high A tier. Not quite S tier anymore, but he's definitely A tier. A new Barak has very great synergies, very good swarm mechanics. I'm also going to put him into A tier. He synergizes very well with a lot of things. Baron Rivendare, easily S tier still. Lots of great decks around him. He has the ability to, with the Frost Mages, he's incredibly good. That leaves us with Bloodmage Thalnos. Bloodmage Thalnos has also been buffed. Maybe I put him in C tier last time, I don't remember, but he's definitely now high B tier. Then we have Carrion, Bloodhoof, probably for sure A tier. Lots of synergies with him, lots of good mechanics. He's good in PvP and PvE. A really good unit to invest in. That leaves us with Synergies. Synergies is also A tier. Great PvP synergies, great PvE synergies as well. We have Razor Flank. She's good. Definitely a very good mini. Better than what I thought she was. She's not D tier, but she's definitely low C tier. That leaves us with Drakkisath. Drakkisath is pretty much like, if this were a strictly PvE playlist, he would be God tier. But unfortunately, we're factoring in viability in PvP scenarios. I think he does have a lot of good synergies in PvP, but I think there's just a lot better choices. So I'm definitely going to put him in B tier, high B tier, probably above Bloodmage. Next, we have Thorsan. Thorsan is good. Fun synergies, fun mechanics. He's definitely also a B tier mini. Hellscream. Hellscream is incredibly good. The synergies are pretty much endless because, he gives your minis bloodlust. So he's definitely going to go into A tier. Not quite as good as a new Barak, but definitely A tier class. Next, we have the Hogger. Hogger is B tier, probably mid to high B tier. Lots of fun synergies, lots of cool stuff, but there are definitely, in my opinion, much better options. Jaina. So, in my opinion, Jaina would be A tier, B tier. She's a great mini. I love playing Jaina. She has a lot of niches around her. Clear casting, that ability is good, where she can, reduce the cost of spells. It's very good in PvE scenarios. But the problem with her is you have to play that spell immediately after playing her. And that kind of, like, if it made it to where, like, it was just the next spell, and you could play, like, other minis, she'd be much better. But she's definitely C tier, probably a little bit higher than Razor Flank. Maeve, easily A tier. I would probably put her actually above a new Barak, below Arthas. The thing about Maeve is she synergizes so well with so many minis. And the more unbound minis that get released, once again, the more she's going to get better. That leaves us with Malfurion. Malfurion was S tier. He is now A tier. They nerfed him a little bit. Still a really great mini to invest in PvE and PvP. Just not as, like, broken as he used to be. That leaves us with Old Murk-Eye. Old Murk-Eye is definitely, I would have to say, I wouldn't say he's niche, but the problem with Old Murk-Eye is the strategies are, like, very Hail Mary type strategies. And so I'm going to go ahead and put him into probably high B tier. Still viable, still a noob stomper. Lots of good things that you can do with Old Murk-Eye, but with a seasoned player that, knows how to use, Blizzard or Chain Lightning or Dragon's Breath or, other things, pretty much easily can get wiped out. Onu, I love Onu, but unfortunately he is low C tier. Not super duper viable in a lot of situations. He gets hit with a lot of stuff. He gets hit with the Banshee and just, like, really kind of a slow mini. I just think there's better minis to choose. Like, I'd rather choose Drakkisath or Carrion over him. He's kind of got a unique ability, you know, and it's definitely great in PvE, but not necessarily like the most balanced mini. Doomhammer is for sure, I would say, A tier. Low cost, and you get high value from him. That's kind of the gist of that. Ragnaros is probably high D tier. Fun mini. I love Ragnaros. I recently did a Ragnaros video if you want to check that one out. But in my opinion, the viability of this mini, like, I just think there's just other minis that you can use. If you just absolutely love Ragnaros, you can make him work. But there's only so many decks you can build. Blackhand, S tier. And I'm going to explain why. Number one, you get just his natural ability where he flies and he can pop ground units. You know, you kind of get 2 minis for the price of 1. But the main thing is that he makes your flying units cost less. And so the more flying units that come out, the better he's going to get. He's incredibly good in PvE and PvE. Moving forward, we have Sneed. Sneed's B tier for sure. Where in the B tier, like, you know, probably mid to high B tier. Really great abilities, really fun in both PvE and PvE. There are some better options, but I don't know. I think Sneed is just overall a super fun mini. Moving on to Sylvanas. Sylvanas is actually my favorite mini in the game. She's really fun. She can be a 2-for-1 if her Banshee ability goes off, but if you're facing skilled players, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. Like, she would be A tier if she costs 5, but she costs 6. She did get, you know, the split mini ability. It was our first split leader. Lots of cool stuff with Sylvanas. But I am going to have to put her in, for now, low B tier. She's not quite A tier. Not really even close. Not really C tier either. Once again, she does really good in a lot of scenarios if you know how to use her. Synergizes incredibly well with undead minis such as the Ghoul and things like that. So I might change my opinion on her once we do our kind of review, but for now she's going to stay in the B tier. Thrall, as of right now, is S tier. Cost 4, and his Feral Spirit ability is actually legitimately broken. The fact that he makes your horde units, you know, deal more damage, and like it's actually really good. Yeah, Thrall is at this point broken. The fact that you can heal him and then his ability triggers again, his talent triggers again, is actually incredibly good. He pops flying units, pops ground units, and overall just a really good mini. Next we are dealing with Fordring Tyrion, S tier. If you're gonna get one mini, I mean, this guy's really good. Simply the fact that he heals, he hits minis on the ground, he's a tank. Lots of good stuff with him actually. And he only costs 4, so really good alliance synergies with this mini. I think that mechanically speaking, he's incredibly sound. Ysera. So Ysera is interesting. She has a really fun mechanic. I believe that there are definitely other things that can be done with this mini. I think that there are better things that we can do. I think it just depends on kind of where the meta's at, like what we're doing with the season. So Ysera is going to go into, I'm going to put her in B tier. Very close, like Drakasath, she's very close to A tier. Really fun mini. Okay, Abomination. Cost a lot. I used to really love this mini, but there's only so many synergies you can do with him. I think that he's B tier for sure. Niche, but very good, right? Next we have the chickens. Chickens, I'm going to have to put in D tier. Yes, there's viable, like people are gonna be like, well, what about this, and this? There's definitely viable strategies you can do with the chickens, but like go through the list of minis and look how many things pop the chickens. Literally so many things pop chickens. It's actually more of a liability because Witch Doctor is such a powerhouse in the meta that it's just not worth running the chickens, right? I think, it's a fun, mini, but I don't think it's worth it. Arcane Blast. Arcane Blast is really only good in a few decks, like literally like 2. Jaina and maybe Bloodmage. So fun spell, but not super duper useful. That's why it goes into the D tier. Probably high D tier, actually. Next, we have the Ancient of War. Ancient of War is B tier. Ancient of War has some really good abilities. So the fact that it makes all spells go to it with that talent. Counters, it actually is really good against a lot of spell-based decks, or even when you're in PvP and like people are just spamming Blizzard. It's actually pretty good for that. But you got to know how to play it, right? So it's kind of one of those things. Banshee. Ooh. Banshee is, I would definitely say, yeah, she's definitely not quite A tier, but not quite. Yeah, no, she's gonna go into mid B, and here's why. Actually, look how many things Banshee grabs, right? Tyrion, she grabs a new Barak. She grabs pretty much everything. But you got to know it's timing. It's all about timing. It's all about placement of the mini. But she is weak to a lot of things. So, you can counter her with the skeletons. You can counter her with the bats. You can counter her with a lot of swarm units. So she's not like the perfect mini, but she definitely has her use cases. Bat Rider. Bat Rider is also B tier. Really great for popping swarm units and a lot of ground units, and really good in a lot of PvE scenarios, but there's too much stuff that pops her, right? Like, just too much stuff. Actually, I'm going to put her below Sylvanas, actually. Blizzard, A tier. One of the best spells in the game. So I would actually put it right here. The thing that I like about Blizzard is with Cold Snap, you can delay your opponents if it's a close game. You can pop the towers. You can do so much with Blizzard. It's such a diverse thing. And the way you have to look at Blizzard is, yeah, it costs 4, but let's say you're killing 6 gold worth of minis. That's the value proposition that you have to kind of look at when running spells like Blizzard. So Blizzard is incredibly good. Let's talk about Bog Beast. Bog Beast is C tier. I would argue that Harvester Golem is very similar, right? It's close, it's a Cenarian faction. We do factor that in, but there's other stuff you can run. So for example, he's niche. Once again, C tier units, none of these units are necessarily even bad. It's just the viability, right? In certain PvP scenarios. So if you guys watch this channel, you would know that Chain Lightning is one of my favorite spells. But it's also going into C tier because, once again, there's other. It's niche, right? It pops like very specific units. So I use it to pop the bats, the Device Bandits, chickens, things like that. I might even use it to double pop some stuff if my guys need a little bit of help. But once again, this is a viability thing. Speaking of viability, we go to Cheat Death. Very niche spell, kind of, so it goes in D tier. The Chimarian. This unit is, I think this was like the first season or the second season unit. Really good, actually, many. We're actually seeing a lot of play. It's going to go into B tier. But it's actually a very good unit. Very good unit. Pops a lot of things. It hits towers pretty well. This leaves us with the Corehounds. Corehounds are kind of, I don't know, it's like they're good, right? And they cost a lot. They do their job. You get 2 units. So it's kind of like, and they can revive each other. So it's a tricky unit. This unit would be A tier if it costs a little bit less and maybe if the abilities were a little bit tighter. But for now, it's going to go into low B tier. Dark Iron Miner. So this is an incredibly, incredibly good mini, but not for everybody, right? Not every deck needs this. So things that require you to have a lot of gold are good, but you're not going to, in PvP scenarios, you're not going to be controlling the map with this unit. Having said that, in PvE, it's pretty decent. So I'm going to put the Dark Iron Miner in probably C tier. This leaves us with the Dark Spear Troll. Dark Spear Troll is A tier. Easily. Big Bad Voodoo, the fact that it self-heals and it can pop flyers, it hits towers really well. Single target. One of the best single target minis in the game, actually. So it's incredibly good. Dragon's Breath. This is, or sorry, not Dragon's Breath, Deep Breath. Very good. Same. It's kind of like similar to Blizzard. It's just a different flavor, right? And I would love to see more faction specific spells like this. Actually, I would love to see it. But really good. Really fun. Defias Bandits S tier. I mean, this is S tier. Okay, now I'm explaining why Defias Bandits are S tier and why they might always be S tier. Gold is everything. Gold is everything. And I choose Picklock even on maps that might even require Picklock. But the fact that they can stun, the fact that they do pop thing, they can, kind of finish minis off, but the fact that they can steal chest, and then they give you 2 additional gold. So you don't even need to look at it like you're gaining gold. Look at it like your opponent's losing gold. That's the way I look at it. So if I need to stun for a couple seconds, I might stun Carrion Bled. Like, you might need to stun a mini for a couple seconds. They act as that as well. So, like, I cannot stress how good these mini. Pretty much every alliance deck I use, and even like a lot of non-alliance decks are going to be using the Defias Bandits because they are so good. There's so many synergies with them. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Okay, bat lanes. Ooh, bat lanes. Lots of counters, but are easily... Sorry. They're very good, but lots of counters, right? So I'm going to put these minis in B tier for now. Definitely better than Abomination, but not... Actually, I'm going to put them above Banshee. But, Chain Lightning pops them, Blizzard pops them. Pretty much any AoE unit that hits flyers pops them. They are good, but I don't think they're not necessary for every deck, right? The Drake, good. Probably A tier. So the thing about the Drake is, I might even actually put it right here. The Drake is incredibly good. Pops flyers, pops ground units. But here's what's great about it. The Mother Drake ability creates distractions for ground units. And that is really good in PvP scenarios. The Dryad is definitely also B tier, right? Can bind things, pops rock elementals, pops, lots of melee units. Cost a little much. She'd be A tier if she didn't cost so much. Cost 4. But she might even be S tier, actually, if she costs 3. But I don't know. We'd have to see. But B tier. Earth and Moon. Great for very specific PvP fights, PvE fights, but in my opinion, completely useless otherwise. I think Blizzard and Dragon's Breath are pretty much always going to be, or even Execute are always going to be other better choices. The Druid. Now, the Druid used to be really bad. The Druid still isn't like super duper amazing, but they kind of buffed the Druid a little bit as far as the cost and things like that goes. Not really an amazing unit. High C tier. I think the Druid, it's a fun unit for sure. It's a fun mechanic, but I think there are better units to run. Earth Elemental is easily A tier. Costs 3 and pops a lot of stuff, a lot of towers. It's a threat. Is kind of like what the idea is. Earth and Moon, or Sun and Moon, or whatever this spell is called, it's okay. Probably C tier, to be honest. Niche. Once again, I'd rather use Blizzard. I'd rather use Execute. I'd rather use Dragon's Breath. I'd probably even rather use Chain Lightning, to be honest. A lot of the Cenarian abilities where they flip-flop, I mean, they can be useful, but I just think there's a lot better options. Speaking of better options, Execute. A tier. Synergizes well with Horde. You can give people Bloodlust and pop things at the same time. Just an overall good unit, or a good spell. Really great in PvE scenarios. Incredibly good. Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon's B tier. Buffs your stuff, pops things. It's like a worse Griffin Rider, except it buffs stuff. So, yeah, I might put it there. I don't know. We'll see. Fire Elemental. Fire Elemental is B tier. Good. Fun. I don't really personally use Fire Elemental that much. Haven't had the need to. I'd much rather use Rock Elemental or the Earth Elemental or whatever. Next we have the Firehammer. Firehammer is B tier. Great abilities. Good threat. You know, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about it. Flame. Was it the Flame Walker? So the Flame Walker is also B tier. Hits all your annoying ground units for sure. Hits ground units pretty hard. Is a threat, but I mean, look how many units it can pop pretty easily. Footmen, they're fun, but they're definitely C tier, probably right there. They cost a lot. They're niche, but if you're running that type of deck, they're good. The footmen, the decks that do use footmen, it works really well in. Next, we're going with Gargoyle. I think everybody knows that this is like an A tier unit, dude. Easily. I don't even need to talk about this unit. This unit's amazing. It's a threat. It's just a huge threat. So, B tier for this guy. Ghoul is probably the best undead tank as far as minis are concerned. As far as non-hero units are concerned, right? Obviously, Arthas is probably going to be a better tank, but the fact that it only costs 2, you can cycle it, and you can use it with Sylvanas. It's actually a really good mini, actually. This guy, the Null Brute. I don't really use him. A lot of people seem to like him. I'm gonna put him in C tier. Probably low C tier. He's cool, Like once again, he's kind of like. I think Flamewalker is just a better choice because they kind of do the same thing as far as popping units are concerned. Goblin Sappers, great with Thrall. Great with Sneak. They work well when they do work well, and they're kind of broken in some scenarios. So I'm gonna put them in probably B tier. Griffin Rider, S tier, easy. So you'll kind of notice like a theme here. Like we have 3 alliance units in the S tier, but Griffin Rider cost 2, mighty throw. It's dangerous. This is a very dangerous mini. If you let it get out of control, it will pop your towers. It'll pop minis, ground units. It'll pop flying units, for 2. Like that's what's so crazy about it. It's just extreme value out of this mini. Next we have the Harpies. So the thing about the Harpies is they can nab gold. They can poison stuff. I mean, if you have a good tank, they can pop towers pretty good. So I'm actually going to put the Harpies in A tier as well. Really good unit to invest in. What I like about the Harpies is, they work well. They synergize with so many different decks. That's what I kind of like about the Harpies. So next we have the Harvester Golem. Now, a lot of people say, well, Harvester Golem is incredibly similar to the Bog Beast, which is true. But I think that there are a couple things that the Harvester Golem, just does really well. Its stun ability is actually really fun. So the Bog Beast has the root ability, and the Harvester Golem has that stun ability. And I think that the stun ability is slightly better. That's just my opinion. Like I said, they're almost interchangeable. So I'm gonna put the Harvester Golem. Literally, like you can swap these two. It can be either or depending on what you're doing, but they're about the same. The Horseman, Headless Horseman, got a little bit of a buff. Not necessary in every single undead deck, but pretty fun mini, pretty good abilities. I'm gonna put it in actually like C tier as well. That might change. What's this? I forgot what the name of the spell is. Holy Nova, also C tier, but probably above those 2. Huntress, easily A tier, even though she costs a little bit. She hits everything. She's a serious threat. She's fast. She's got stealth, and she just hits stuff. So, and then she can then she resolve. Living Bomb is D tier. Good for certain PvP scenarios, but PvE scenarios. But I think there's a lot better things that we can do. Meat Wagon. This thing would literally be S tier if it hit flying units. It would be broken if it hit flying units, and I see why it does not hit flying units. So this is definitely, I would say, for me, it's definitely, it would be A tier, maybe even S tier, but it's gonna go into probably right here, B tier. Actually, do that. This is incredibly good for PvE. Really good backline for PvP as well. Yeah, this is just a really good mini. Molten Giant. Molten Giant is fun, dude. And like ironically, he synergizes super well with Ragnaros. But other than that, like there's really, I mean, PvP E stuff, he's good, but yeah, he's D tier. Moonkin got a buff, but I'm gonna put it in low C tier. Speaking of buffs, this guy, the Mountaineer, also got a buff, C tier. He's no longer D tier. These guys are also C tier, the Murlocs. They're just, I mean, like I said, there's just other options that can pop these guys. I'm actually gonna put them right there. Okay, we have the Necromancer. So the Necromancer is good, actually. It's really good. Because it can kind of act as what we call a pseudo tank. And so I'm going to put it in very high B tier. You notice a lot of undead units are kind of in the B tier, and that's because they synergize incredibly well with each other, right? So you can plop the Ghoul out, and then it can tank, and then you can put the Necromancer out, and they can pop the background flying units as a beeline. So, really fun. The Ogre Mage is good in the decks that it's good in, but like it's super niche. Probably, I'd actually put it below Molten Giant. Actually, Plague Farmer. This is the biggest glow up in the entire game. So this was D tier at one point. The buff that this thing got has plopped it into high A tier. This thing is incredibly good. It stacks poison. I mean, it just does like it just does so much good stuff now. It's been fixed, and only a couple tweaks, but this thing is incredibly good. Arthas loves this dude. I mean, he's an incredible backline. He's really good. Plague Farmer has grown up, and he's ready to go to college. So, really fun mini, guys. Really, really fun mini. So next we have Polymorph. So Polymorph is good. Okay. It's good if you know how to use it. And once again, I would rather, and in most scenarios for most people, I would recommend, one of the A tier spells over this. So that's why it's going to go into probably B tier, probably high B tier. Ooh, that leaves us with the Priestess. Priestess is A tier, dude. Almost borderline S tier, actually. But I'm actually going to put her below the Plague Farmer. Dude, she's really good. Heals for 2. She can shield stuff, prevent stuff from dying. Getting rid of her literally becomes a threat. Like you have like Tyrion, right? And then you have like it's just like double heals, right? Or you do her with Malfurion, or her with even obviously Arthas, Drac. I mean, she does a lot of good stuff, and like she's really good. The Prowler is good, not amazing, but good. I would definitely say the Prowler is C tier. Would be A tier, cost 3. Oh, sorry, would be B tier, but I don't know. I just think there's better stuff, but definitely high C tier. Okay, for the Prowler. Next we have the Pyromancer. So Pyromancer hits hard, and she hits flying units. And there's really not much a lot of people can do about it. Having said that, she is pretty squishy, right? But it's kind of one of those situations, if you use her right, she's kind of unstoppable almost. So she's going to actually go into A tier, probably right about there, I would say. Quillabor, this is a running thing. He is S tier. Not quite. Actually, you know what, dude? Might actually be like right here, dude. Like this unit is kind of disgusting, actually. It's kind of gross, like what it can do and the amount of synergies that it has. So it acts as a distraction. It's a tank. It costs 2. It has Unbound. You can poison stuff. The tunnel vision, makes it pop out quicker. There's so much stuff you can do. Raptors used to not be as good, but we're starting to find lots of synergies with them. They are definitely C tier, but still pretty good. Safe Pilot. They've had to nerf this thing, dude, and they've had to do like so much rank. Like it's still S tier in my opinion, because once again you get that unbound. It costs 3. It can burn stuff. It can pop stuff. Once it does do its main ability, which is still really good, it can then still live on and fight and distract. So for that reason, it's S tier. The Frostwolf Shaman. Okay. So this thing is really good. Obviously, like, it's probably, as far as actual raw healing abilities, I would actually say it's the best healer in the game. It can heal your tower, right? Does cost 4. It's not quite as cheap as, say, something like the Priestess. And you can literally, get Baron out for that. But here's the thing about the Frostwolf, though, okay? Frostwolf and everything else, solid. I don't think there's any, like, the decks that do use her, or that do use the Frostwolf, there's nothing bad about it. So I'm actually going to put Frostwolf in probably A tier, right about there. Lots of good stuff with the Frostwolf. Skeletal Mages. So let's talk about the Skeletal Mages. Skeletal Party. These are good. And once again, their Unbound ability makes them really great for popping towers. Really good in a lot of PvE scenarios. So I'm actually going to put this right about there. The skeletons are the counter Banshee. I used to use these minis a lot. I still use them in like things like Baron Rivendare, but I haven't really been using them as much lately since we've kind of had other units come out. Having said that, only cost 2, distracts, counters a lot of stuff. So these guys are definitely high C tier, I would say. Yeah, high C tier. Smoke Bomb, pretty much useless in PvP. That's just my opinion. Like, there are a couple things you can do with it. I just don't think it's necessary. Very great for PvE. If this was a PvE tier list, I think it would be much higher, but there's that. Speaking of buffs, the Spiderlings got a really nice buff. Similar to the Plague Farmer. So they were D tier at one point, almost borderline unusable, but now they synergize with so much stuff. A new Barak, Arthas they can synergize with. There's just a lot of good stuff they synergize with. So I'm actually going to put them into B tier. That leaves us next with the Stonehoof Tauren, A tier. I don't really use this mini a lot, but a lot of people do. The thing about about this mini is it tanks, and it's super annoying to deal with, right? Like, it can pop, like, it just immediately pops, like, weaker units. Swole Troll. Dude, this mini's good. This mini's really... The question is, do I put it in A tier or S tier? Swole Troll is A tier, I would say. Not quite S tier. Swole Troll... The fact that, like, it just keeps going, and you just have to kill it, that's what makes it so good. The Trents. Frankly put, I like, it's not that these are bad minis. I just don't know what I personally would use them in. And for that reason, they are going to go, for now, into D tier. These guys are D tier as well. The Warsong Grunts, similar to the Footmen, like, they're very niche, but they're not bad actually. Warsong Rider, really good unit, not quite A tier. Really good unit actually, and so she hits hard and she runs quick, and so works good in slower, like, kind of horde decks, right? Even works good in Thrall actually. So I would actually put this mini maybe like right about there in the B tier. The Whelp Eggs. So the Whelp Eggs, easily in the A tier. So, oops, I don't know what I did wrong. So the Whelps are going to go into A tier. And I don't know why it's glitching a little bit with the... I just accidentally added an F tier, but... Witch Doctor, A tier. Like Easy, probably even above the Voodoo. And then last but not least, the Worgen. So the Worgen is good. It's really good at like kind of like popping those pesky annoying units. So I'm gonna put that in B tier. I know I went really fast, guys. That's because we have a lot of minis to kind of go through. Lots of minis to go through, but you know, we were able to get through this tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know, like, if you disagree with some of this stuff. Let me know kind of what your favorite minis are. Obviously, keep the comments positive, guys. I really appreciate the support. Appreciate 100 videos, guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video.